West Denver. Sleep deprived and heavily caffeinated.
All right, let's do this then.
This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
I don't agree with that.
They don't always agree, but hey, at least they have coffee.
Coffee.
And each other.
I love you, man.
God help us.
I want to bless him. We need all the help we can get.
Now here's Jeff Hunt and Bill Thorpe. The Jeff and Bill Show on News Talk 710 KNUS.
Well, it's 6 a.m. in the Mile High City on this Friday. Yay! August 15th, 2025. Good morning, Denver, Colorado. You've tuned in to the Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710 KNUS. I'm your co-host, Jeff Hunt, along with Bill Thorpe, bringing you the freshest insights and hottest takes from the right, left, and center. President Trump en route to Alaska for his Putin summit. Just getting on the airplane right now.
Yeah.
Off he goes.
Yeah.
So
It's a Friday, so hope everybody's doing well out there. It's to me a little tired. It's a This is cup number 2 already, and we're starting the show.
Cato's coffee.
Cato's coffee. It's one of those days. Yeah, this will be fun. How are you doing, my friend?
Oh, off and running.
Good.
We got a great show for you planned today. Interesting headlines coming out. U.S. drinking rate at new low as alcohol concerns surge. This was fascinating.
Yeah.
Because I also think there's a political effect.
You think so?
I do.
Really?
I do. Especially as it relates to the drop in Republicans drinking.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you a little bit about
Yeah, we'll have to talk
why
about that. Yeah.
in a little bit. But that was interesting. Salvation Army in the city of Denver. Parting ways with it when it comes to the operations at 3 homeless shelters. What is going on there? This was an interesting little spat that took place between the Salvation Army and the city of Denver. We'll get to that as well. We're going to be joined by Kathleen Sagama, principal of multi-use advocacy. She was the one that was up for the appointment to the BLM.
Yeah, she was.
Bureau of Land Management. She's going to join us to talk about Polis 2040 plan. Looking forward to having her join us. Jeff Hildebrandt will provide some cowboy poetry. Plus, Polis acting like Donald Trump?
That's a weird one. Yeah, taking something out of Trump's playbook. This was a little bit of a surprise, but if you know politicians, not that much of a surprise at all.
I got the power.
Yep, exactly. It's always a good idea when you have the power and a bad one and somebody else has it. Yeah, this is that principle in politics, so enjoy this one.
So, we got a lot to kick it off. Most importantly, though, your phone calls and texts. So give us a call, 303-696-1971, or text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line at 720-819-5115. Now it's time for news and comment. Mr. Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Good morning, TGIF 64 and mostly clear up and down the Front Range and in Denver with some clouds here and there. Expecting a high of 93 today. This portion of the news sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, a Russian theme today, DJT, getting on the plane minutes ago as he meets with Putin in Alaska to try to put an end to this horrific war. And remember, Russia, concocted by Democratic communists who tried to pull off a coup in 2016 and 2020 with lie after lie about DJT with help from the drive-by media. Well, FBI Director Kash Patel says he's trying to build a transparent Russiagate case for the American public to see. Representative Daryl Issa says all the crooks need to be exposed.
And I think it at least allow the public to know that they are hiding something. They're hiding their past wrongful activity. They may not be prosecutable in some cases, but they should be held accountable. They shouldn't be in high-ranking positions. You know, Eric Swalwell, if the Democrats retake the House, he'll probably be back on the Intel Committee. He might be the chairman.
That's frightening. How many indictments will we see? Hopefully at least one. Maybe, who knows? Let's get some indictments. Speaking of those crooks, Barry applauding Texas Democrats for fleeing the state because of those redistricting issues.
Because of your actions, because of your courage, what you've seen is California responding, other states looking at what they can do to offset this mid-decade gerrymandering that is highly irregular.
Yeah, except for states like his own in Illinois, Chicagoland. A former personal trainer.
By the way, real quick, did you see that Babylon Bee article about him?
I did not.
That was just hilarious.
Was it? I didn't see
Pritzker
that.
has joined the FBI so that people throw sandwiches at him.
Yeah, you know, that guy who threw the sandwiches at the police officers was a DOJ,
Department of Justice.
Yeah, contractor, lefty.
Yeah.
Man, had his little salmon-colored shirt on and threw a...
But what are they charging him with? That's the thing. The guy that threw the sandwich. Are they charging him with a
lot.
felony?
Yeah,
For
the number of stuff.
Yeah, but for what? How? Where's the dangerous? The battery involves using something or aggression. A sandwich doesn't rise to the idea.
Oh, I don't know. How do you know what's in the sandwich?
No. Again,
You can't go out there throwing sandwiches.
Yeah, you can't throw
law
I'm not
I mean,
saying. I'm not
could
saying
have anything in it.
Again, not saying you should be allowed to throw sandwiches at law enforcement. I'm just saying I have a feeling they've overcharged. They're overreaching based on the violence they imply based on the charges. They probably
Maybe.
should have gone for something smaller. I'm just saying. I
It
don't
depends
think
if it was Subway or Jersey Mike's.
that's true. Yeah, that's true. How fresh is that bread? That's really the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
If it was Subway, the bread
Yes.
may have been,
Exactly.
Now,
Could
if
be
it
3 days
was
old.
Jersey
Yes.
I think it's
Mike's.
federal assault is what he's been charged with.
Yeah.
Hey,
I think they've gone over. Yeah. I
Hey,
don't think they're
that
gonna get
pissed
there.
me off if I'm a police officer and someone freaking comes up and throws a sandwich at me. I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to do something about it. I mean, you can't do that.
I don't get working for DOJ and thinking you can get away with this. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he's like, this is my last hurrah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna throw a
absolutely.
sandwich
Yeah.
and a cop standing around on a corner.
If only he would have told to kill the cops, then he could have been employed still.
True.
There's that guy
Yes.
who did that in January 6th, and now it's part of the DOJ. So,
Yeah,
If
that
we just chanted that would have been okay.
I knew you were gonna go.
Every
Of
day.
course.
Every day it's January 6th for Bill.
Right. Exactly.
I'm sorry that it didn't impact y'all as much as it did some of the rest of us. That's okay. Different strokes, different folks.
All I know is a Trump supporter, one of the few who got killed. She was shot by a police officer, and there was no reason for her to get shot.
Yeah, other than
And
the
she was
breaking
a
of the window
veteran.
and the barricading the doors and saying not to come through. Yeah, other than that, people on the other side. Other than that, no reason.
Once again, I'm going to give you that documentary. You've got to watch it. It's about 90 minutes long. I think you may change your tune on
Okay.
it. Maybe.
Love
Maybe.
to. Yeah, I watched the
I'm
thing go
gonna
down
give it to you.
live, so let's see what they say.
I watched it live too, and I
Yeah.
knew it was a fraud. Watching it live, I'm like, this is just so.
This is the fun part. The fun part is you have
So
a guy
weird.
deployed by the DOJ that was telling the rioters to kill the cops and calling the policemen Nazis, and that you're like, obviously a setup. But the DOJ employs the guy now. That hurts. That just hurts. In general, hurts the conspiracy theory.
There's
in general.
nothing like security cameras inside the building capturing them walk in casually and taking a tour of
Yeah.
the White House
And pooping
of
on
the,
places and
Capitol.
stealing things and and
I
asking
didn't
around
see
to kill
the-
people.
I didn't
yeah.
see the poop part.
Well,
I
dude
didn't
was
see that.
arrested and he was charged and convicted of
Was
it.
he?
So yeah.
He was probably-
I've got
So,
a challenge today. Can Bill Thorpe connect January 6th to everything we talk about?
It seems like a spurious, stupid
Right?
issue. but-
Alcohol drop, January 6th. How about the Salvation Army in the city of Denver, January 6th?
I understand that you're trying to be facetious and you're trying to make fun of me for it, that you're saying that it's not that big of a deal.
No, I'm just impressed that you're able to connect everything.
Well, no,
That
I'm
we
not.
threw a sandwich at the DOJ.
No, hang on a sec. It was
January 6th.
no, it was a DOJ, and it was the issue that you shouldn't be employed at the DOJ if you're throwing a sandwich at a police officer. And I just asked the question, does it count if you're suggesting that group of people kill the police officer? If he just would have stood there and yelled at him, kill the police officer, would that have been okay? And could he have still been employed? Because we have someone that did that and is employed by the DOJ. I'm just curious about standards. I wasn't the person that said if you throw a sandwich at a law enforcement officer, you shouldn't be employed by the DOJ. That's it. I'm just saying if throwing a sandwich is the bar, I'm asking about the words. I'm just asking. And it's about the employment of DOJ people, not about January 6th. It's about the claims and he's on camera yelling, kill the cops. Is that an issue? That's it. Not taking a position on it. I'm just saying, is it an issue? If sandwich throw guy is an issue, is kill the cops guy. Decide amongst yourselves. That's it. That's it.
I just want to
That's
see
all
if
I'm
you
saying.
can connect everything to January 6th. I think it would be impressive.
I love it. Man, I love it. TGIF, a former personal trainer, 51-year-old Aaron Corrado is facing prison time after being convicted of child sexual assault in Douglas County. A jury found him guilty on multiple charges Thursday. Investigators accused Corrado of sexually assaulting two underage girls between 2019 and 2022 while working at the Strength in Christ gym in Parker. He'll be sentenced in November. Police trying to locate a driver wanted for a deadly crash last month in Aurora. A summons for 28-year-old Yosmar Chavez Rodriguez was issued Wednesday. Investigators believe he was driving a truck that hit a 72-year-old pedestrian. Using a walker on July 29th, the woman reportedly fell in the roadway due to a hole in the pavement, and the truck ran over her while making a right turn. Rodriguez is wanted for investigation of careless driving resulting in death. Searchers have recovered the body, a body at Rocky Mountain National Park near Emerald Lake. They believe the body belongs to 23-year-old Blake Kikehafer of Omaha, who was reported missing Monday. The body was taken to the Larimer County Coroner's Office for further examination. A federal judge is halting efforts from the White House to defund schools with DEI programs. On Thursday, the judge ruled the Trump administration can't cut federal funding to colleges and other schools that have diversity programs. DC's police chief, Pamela Smith, says her department will work more closely with federal immigration authorities. And as DJT is trying to clean up DC, Assistant AG Harmeet Dillon, who is awesome, applauds 47.
We're seeing this type of situation throughout the United States. There's these Soros prosecutors. They're not enforcing the laws. The law themselves have become weak because people have come to hate the police and love chaos. And so this is what you get. But D.C. has long been a bastion of a failed government, like Chicago and other places. We really failed the African-American community, like you said. It is spilling over all over. I was almost mugged twice this week, one after the other, in the middle of D.C., about 3 blocks away from the White House just 2 days ago. And so,
wow, this week. And there's no crime in D.C. It's not that bad. It happens everywhere. Playboy makes a big move to Florida, announcing plans to relocate its global headquarters from California to Miami Beach. The company also plans to open a new Playboy club featuring a restaurant and exclusive members-only space. CEO Brian Cohn calls Miami Beach the perfect place for Playboy's next chapter, praising the city's energy, pro-business climate, and quality of life. I wonder why. Yes, because it's Florida and they're free, and Southern California is falling apart, and even Playboy says they can't operate in Southern California. So they are moving to Miami where it's free, and there's a lot of conservatives there in South Beach and in South Florida. Diamondbacks over the Rockies last night, 8-2. Back at it tonight at Coors. Cardinals at the Broncos tomorrow night. And the Nuggets schedule is out. They tip off the season October 23rd at Golden State. 61 in Lafayette, 62 in Englewood, 64 in Denver. Jeff and Billy continue. It is Friday. Yes. Blake Olson. What we got here?
Chuck and Hakeem need to go to Amazon, buy some testicles.
News Talk 710 KNUS.
Warm temperatures, afternoon and evening thunderstorms, typical August weather for Denver. Highs today, low to mid-90s, a good chance of afternoon and evening thunderstorms. Lows tonight, low to mid-60s. Temperatures will be about 90 for Saturday and Sunday. A fairly good chance of thunderstorms Saturday, mainly isolated thunderstorms Sunday. Weather is a service of L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
For you. A little bit of a surprise, especially after a little bit of the disagreement we had at the top of the hour here. This song is Millie Smalls, My Boy Lollipop from 1964. Considered, wait for it, the very first popular ska song that was ever created.
This isn't ska.
This is considered ska.
This is what?
Nope, this is. Trust me, this is considered ska.
How is this ska?
This, again,
Where's
see, the
the
thing
annoying
is,
trumpets?
Here's the idea. You talked about ska yesterday, so my friend, today, we are taking a tour de ska. All of our bumper music are going to be ska music. We are going to walk through the history and the 3 different eras of ska together and with the audience. This is Millie Smalls. She comes out of Jamaica. She's 17 when she records this. It's 1964 during the height of the British invasion. But she signs with A&R, and they find a 1950s R&B song that was moderately popular, and she creates this. It's considered the very first ska hit. It does slide a little bit into some rockabilly and a little bit, but the idea is ska comes out of the calypso movement and song. The same time, it's a little bit before or at the same time as reggae, reggaeton, and rocksteady come out of there, but it leans heavily on American jazz and blues. So it takes the influences of American jazz and blues, takes them into rock sensibilities and calypso music out of the Caribbean, and we get this. This is the beginning, sir. Do we have an adventure together ahead? And I'm curious how many of the bands you're going to recognize. Yeah. So that's
I got to
Millie
listen
Smalls.
to ska all day.
Yes. Teach you to make fun of the music when we're on the show here. Just saying, it's a warning. Now, as
you have way too much power.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. I understand that this is going to be uncomfortable and not something that you like. So, as a olive branch as well, what I want to do is, since it's a Friday, I figured we could break the rules a little bit here on a Friday. So, next Friday, what I'm asking from you, my friend, is next week, I need 12 songs from you that are important. Give me a list, and then next Friday...
Just go play George Strait and
again,
Johnny Cash.
That's fine if you want to do George Strait, Johnny Cash, but I want you to pick them, and then next Friday, you're going to walk us through some of your musical sensibilities. Many times I sit here and I interrupt based on my music, and I think since I'm going to override our music selections today, it is only fair that next Friday we are going to feature Jeff's favorite songs. And so I would say go from childhood, go all the way, but spend some time, my friend, and by, Wednesday, Thursday next week, if I can get a list of a dozen for you, that's what we need. I need a dozen songs, and we'll put them, if you want to give me an artist and I'll pick, I will pick, but I don't know if it'll mean anything to you.
You know what this reminds me of is that scene in the, remember the Titans?
Yes.
When they're put together, they're forced to live in the same room.
Exactly.
And one's listening to Motown and the other one's listening to old school country, and they just can't.
Yeah, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
There are times in which I think that when they have those things you fill out at college about finding a roommate, they don't look at that as preferences. They try to find somebody exactly opposite of you.
Just
yeah.
to
yeah,
get
just
you
because.
to going.
Yeah, especially based on musical taste.
Play that again. That's ska?
Yeah, that is considered the first basic ska hit in 1964. Yeah, My Boy Lollipop. Yeah, hang on a sec. We'll bring it up. Yeah. Here, we'll bring it up again. Boom, here we go. And so you've got the horns that sit there, and it has to do with the rhythm. Boom. Yeah, it's considered
it's pretty annoying.
Yeah, but it's considered the first ska hit. This is it.
Oh, there you go.
This is the beginning as far as a hit. It's not the first one, but we'll walk through it. I even have a special ska selection from the 60s for our friend, our poet laureate, coming up at 9 o'clock that has a cowboy reference in it. My man, I know my stuff.
Well,
we went a little deep here.
No one's down that.
Yeah.
No one's down that. It's just you've been unleashed with
this
too
will be
much
fun.
power.
Yeah. So again, ska, and again, I am giving you the power next Friday. We're going to feature Jeff's favorite songs. So, yeah.
Well, we may need to add some alcohol to the show today. And speaking of that,
there we go.
U.S. drinking rate at new low as alcohol concerns surge. This from Gallup. The percentage of U.S. adults who say they consume alcohol has fallen to 54%, the lowest by 1 percentage point in Gallup's nearly 90-year trend. This coincides with a growing belief among Americans that moderate alcohol consumption is bad for one's health. Now the majority view for the first time. Gallup has tracked Americans' drinking behavior since 1939 and their views of the health implications of moderate drinking since 2001. The results are from Gallup's annual consumption habit survey conducted July 7th through the 21st. From 1997 to 2023, at least 60% of Americans reported drinking alcohol. The figure fell to 62% in 2023 and to 58% in 2024 before reaching 54% today. Prior to most recent poll, the rate has been under 60% fewer than 10 times, including 58% in the initial 1939 poll, and a one-time low of 55% recorded in 1958. The highs of 68% to 71% were all recorded between 1974 and 1981. Bill, what do you attribute this to, you think?
A change in behaviors we have for a number of years looked at the idea of binge drinking. We've pushed and pushed and pushed for binge drinking. Gen Z is drinking less. So I think that's part of it. That's part of the issues we have pushed. Who's going to be drinking? Why are you drinking? And I have seen through Gen Z friends and even through the millennials, less enthusiasm for the going out to bars, going out and getting drunk, going out. And that even includes the kids of mine that were on the college scene. And they just said that while it exists, there is a smaller portion of that alcohol enthusiasm. And the other part is there's less of a peer pressure at that generation, too, about, oh, you're not drinking, you're not. And there's less of that we had when we were younger. What do you think is attributed to this?
Yeah, so if you get into the micro trends here by subgroup, it gets fascinating, okay? Like everybody is drinking less. I mean, regardless of your household income, age, ethnicity, gender, even political party ID, everybody is drinking less. But one of the biggest swings, which is fascinating, is that Republicans, out of almost everybody else, drink less. So if you're an independent, for instance, that number has shifted year over year by 6 points. So today, independents, by a margin of 6 points, drink less than last year. Democrats, 3 points. Republicans, 19 points. And what I attribute this to is what's called, in my mind, the Donald Trump effect. And I get these videos. I don't know, maybe you do, maybe you don't. But, for instance, Charlie Kirk popping up on my social media saying, don't drink. Don't drink. Tucker's done drinking. Trump doesn't drink. I don't drink. Go do something better with your time. Don't be drinking. So I think Donald Trump's kind of teetotaling as it relates to Republicans has pushed them to drink less. by a pretty big margin over everybody else, over independents and Democrats, Republicans saying, no, I'm not drinking anymore. I think Donald Trump's kind of inspired that in people. What do you think? Give us a call, 303-696-1971, or text us on the Dan Caplis Law Text line, 720-819-5115, 720-819-5115. Speaking of making good decisions, let's talk about Gyrie's. My wife and I have been talking about updating our home for a while. We took the first big step, went into Gyrie's. I'd never been into Gyrie's, and I was one of those guys that thought that improving your home meant going to one of those big box stores, getting a giant bucket of paint, buying shades, and having to install them yourselves, and having to do all the work yourselves, having to design all of it by yourself. Well, Gyrie's has showed me, opened my eyes to a whole new option, which is take your wife and let her and the design experts go at it, which is very, very cool. Gyrie's locations in Parker, all throughout Denver, have been fantastic to work with. My wife and I sat down with their professional designer, Crystal, and they showed us an incredible selection of Hunter Douglas custom blinds, shades, and shutters. They then came out to our house, took measurements, brought samples, and you got to see how the light would look directly in your own home, so you can see how the colors work. And they're now doing micro measurements to get it down to the 16th of an inch, so it looks perfect. And these blinds now are remote controlled, and they're not that crazy expensive. So very impressed with Gyrie's. Schedule your in-home consultation with them today. That's GUIRYS.com, GUIRYS.com, Gyrie's. Go see the great people there. You'll be sure to thank me. All right, we'll continue. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710 KNUS. Party at Ground Zero. Fishbone is still around in the 90s, but they don't experience the second wave that comes in later on when you bring in the punk and the alternative.
I'm so
but this is
sorry.
classic. This is
I'm
1985.
so sorry to all of our listeners out there.
This
I've
is
unleashed
wonderful.
a monster,
Yeah.
and I apologize.
This is so good. This is Fishbone,
This is not
man.
good.
This is excellent. This is good. In fact, the guy that did the video for this is the same guy that ended up directing Nightmare Before Christmas by Tim Burton. He entered a contest from Sony in order to direct a music video and ends up doing the music video for Fishbone's Party at Ground Zero. Yeah. So good.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
we're talking about Americans drinking less, and I apologize if you're encouraged to drink more after being forced to
that's a
listen to
great
ska all morning. But
it's your fault.
yeah, right. It's January 6th fault. All right. The drinking rate right now is dropping in America. I find this interesting. I'm having some debates on the text messages here because I'm looking at the party ID affiliated with this Gallup poll. Independents, 6-point drop in drinking. Democrats, 3-point drop in drinking. Republicans, 19-point drop in drinking. I think it's the Donald Trump effect. And I see videos regularly. I'm a conservative, so a lot of my social medias are geared towards this. And Charlie Kirk talks about not drinking. Tucker Carlson talks about not drinking. Donald Trump talks about not drinking. There's been a pretty strong encouragement in the social media of conservatives to give it up and get serious. Go out there and lift weights or go to church or do something other than drinking. And Donald Trump and his financial success, his political success, I think is encouraging a lot of conservatives to give it up. That's what I attribute it to. What else? Prove me wrong. 303-696-1971 or text us at 720-819-5115. Let's go to the phone lines. Joan Lakewood. Good morning, Joan. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Good morning.
Good morning. First of all, I want to say that I love Guyry's. It's been around forever. It's one of the greatest art supplies. I go there and get watercolor supplies. I'm very excited that they are sponsoring you, and it's just a great store. So
isn't it?
Really cool.
I had never been in one before because I'm not a big house decoration guy. And when we had done it, we had just been to the big box stores where some dude hands you a big bucket of paint based upon what color you want. No real guidance, no real advice. And then I walk into Guyry's and I'm like, whoa, they could do it all. They can with the painting and the curtains and the shutters and even home decor. And they personally guide you through all the decisions.
That's the thing for me is the idea that they've got somebody there that is like on those TV shows that walks you through it because you don't know what you don't know. You may have seen something you like, but you don't know if it's going to go this way and does it fit in your house. And we've all done that thing online, Joan, where it says, "Oh, take a picture of your room and then we will superimpose this thing in here," and it never looks right. But Guyry's is going to have people come right out to your house and walk through your stuff and say, "This is what you need to do. We can do stuff here." And the other cool thing is that when you're talking to the experts at Guyry's, they're going to tell you the best things to do and the things to avoid so you don't spend money you don't need to on stupid things. Because if you want to talk to someone that spends money on stupid things, you're talking to them right now. Ask my wife. That's kind of my thing. So, Joan, talk to us about alcohol. Now, why do you think we've seen this drop in drinking?
Well, I think that there are two reasons why. One, the tightening of people's belts to be in this economy. And it's easy to say, okay, I'm not going to be buying the expensive wines. I'm not going to be, it's something that is easily taken out of a household budget. And the second thing is I was at a meeting last night in Elizabeth, and there was a woman there. I'm so excited. She's a Charlie Kirk Turning Point representative. They're bringing people in to work with the young people. And the young people that I have been meeting lately don't drink.
Yeah, that's been my experience with a lot of my kids and their friends is not a lot of drinking. And if they do, very much in moderation. It's not something that, back in those college days where it was the goal, on like every other day, or it was something that was regularly done. It's done sporadically. It's not done to excess. And I think some of it is that the binge drinking message that we've had over the past 8-9 years that also helps. And I think I like what you say about it becoming most expensive, because one of the largest drops that they say is in people that are making less than $40,000 a year. Now, people making over $100,000 a year, they also saw a significant drop. But that was kind of interesting, this shoehorning on either side of people making less than 40 and over 100K, both seeing a larger than 10% drop in their consumption of alcohol.
And people are pointing out on the post here as well that Joe Rogan no longer drinks. So, and people are giving me a hard time saying, "Oh, Jeff, you have Trump worship syndrome," or whatever it is. I'm just going, like, the big major figures in the conservative movement right now don't drink alcohol. Talk about how bad it can be for your body, encouraging other alternatives. And when I'm looking at party ID drop, again, independents, drop of 6 points. Democrats, drop of 3 points. Republicans, 19 points. Well, I think it's the major figures, Trump, Rogan, Charlie Kirk, Tucker Carlson, are all very public about giving up drinking. Joan, what do you think?
Well, our household doesn't drink much. My husband doesn't drink at all. And I am very moderate. I make a peach sangria and have one party on my porch a year, and we do have fun with that. But I can see how much. I think one of the things that's kind of interesting is the tariffs that are coming out of France with their wine and stuff. That's going to cause a little bit of people thinking twice before they hand over a lot of money. I think it'll help our domestic wine stuff, and I just honestly think that we've turned a corner as to how people behave, and I think that this group that's coming up, and I think there was an awful lot of rise in alcohol drinking during the pandemic shutdowns. One of the things that just bugged the crap out of me is that we had here in Denver, the liquor stores shut down for exactly one day. And the marijuana stores, I don't think they ever shut them down.
No.
And so people, when they were shut in, what do they get to do?
Yeah, you're trying to separate people with their vices. If you tell them to stay in, separating them from their vices leads to some really, really difficult
You know,
things.
one of the things I found most fascinating about all the pandemic stuff and things getting shut down, and it's something I predicted that never came true, a big baby boom.
Oh, yeah.
I thought for sure with everyone locked in, hanging out at home and having alcohol and weed available, some babies might be showing up 9 months later, but I guess I was wrong.
That's interesting.
That is interesting. So the last thing I want to say today is, Sky, really, really, do you really want to torture us like this? It's not going to make people like you any better, Bill.
Ska's good music. I mean, I'm sorry that we diverge on it, but we're going to walk through it and talk about why it's important. I mean, this thing, Joan, is you have to realize that, I mean, I understand not necessarily liking it per se, but this grows out of the Calypso movement out of Jamaica at the time, and the two-tone movement that happens in the 80s in England. And it's one of the first genres of music that crosses all racial boundaries. And it takes influence from jazz and U.S. blues. So the two forms of music that U.S. is responsible for are part of the core inside of ska. So while you are saying, I don't like ska and ska sucks, understand you're also throwing rocks in a way to U.S. jazz and blues.
No, we're not.
Yes, you
no,
are.
No, we're not.
Yes.
Don't pull
yes, you are.
Yes,
you
dragging all this stuff into it.
It's okay.
If someone doesn't like the music, doesn't say we're throwing rocks at other.
This is the DEI music?
Yeah.
Is this what you're telling me? This is DEI music?
DEI music.
I can tell you that my father loves Calypso music, and he really loves mariachi music. I mean, it just really is.
Oh, my
gosh. But when you kind of mix it all together, and then you think it's going to be something, wow, thank you for the insight. I now know, Bill, Why, thank you, Bill, for the education.
You're welcome. Have a great day, Joan. I appreciate it.
DEI music.
Yeah, I know.
Hilarious.
The idea that she denigrates it, calling it DEI music when it's talking about when it was talking about racial strife and protest
Bill,
in a time in which
cannot like music and then get pulled into all this.
In a time in which we were telling people what bathrooms and what lunch counters and where they had to sit in the bus. Yeah. But we're going to denigrate it because they were pointing out the racial divisions inside of our society, and we're going to sit there and go,
denigrating it for that.
They're awful.
We're denigrating it because it's just not good.
Yeah.
Enjoyable music
that wasn't
to
what she
listen
said.
to.
That wasn't what Joan said. She categorized it as DEI. I know. If we just would have kept those schools separate, it would have been much better.
Because
would have been much better.
You've labeled anybody who doesn't like it as someone who's denigrating some of the racial
not understanding
things that
it. No, I'm talking about not understanding it and where it comes from and everything else. You can have your own flavors and tastes, but
that's all we've talked about.
What
and
it is
you
it's
pulled
important.
in all the history.
Yeah, and what it is, it's important. Yeah, it is, and that's why we're going to walk through it today. Yep, and it's your turn next Friday, so it's fine.
Text messages on this one. Jeff, you're crazy. Ska is fantastic. Bill, you should play the Guns of Navarro. Do a little first wave instead of third wave.
That's Guns of Navarone. And what I'll tell you is, just wait. Just wait.
Alcohol consumption, Terry in Texas, has been dropping for years before Trump. It was an expense that can be easily eliminated in times of financial trouble. Read PSAs for decades discouraging it. There are many other reasons for doing it than attributing it to Trump. Terry, love you, brother, but I just don't see the explanation as to why it dropped a little bit with Democrats and independents and big time with Republicans.
Does it matter that it dropped big time with women, not men? And the only reason I ask that, and the only reason
the same numbers.
And no, and the reason I ask about that, just in general,
11 to 5.
Yeah, I mean that is significant. 11% to 5%. That is a difference. And what I'm curious about is, we don't have this in the chart, is how does that female male breakup and skew based on income and also based on age? And the only reason is, when we look at the idea of the differences in the political parties, that normally, I believe, and I could be wrong, that the Republican Party skews slightly male. And especially when Joan is talking about young men joining the Republican Party and the idea of not drinking, well, we're seeing in this chart women dropping alcohol by twice as many, which asks some questions. I think that politics does have a role in this. I think absolutely it does. But I'm curious on that male-female breakout inside of both age and inside of income. Does that give us any more insight into what may be going on? But I think you're correct that it does play a part in it. But that sex skew of twice as many women as men makes me question that there might be something else going on here, that maybe there are multiple factors that we're ignoring.
Well, join the conversation. Give us a call, 303-696-1971, 303-696-1971, or text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. We've got You Choose the News coming up as well. Let's talk advanced hair restoration. Look, summer is a time to feel and look your best, but I'm not talking about your abs or tan. Guys, I'm talking about your hair. Restore that bald spot, reverse your receding hairline, and add volume to thinning during Advanced Hair's once yearly summer savings event. Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day, and they guarantee your new hair will grow. There's absolutely no one I trust more than Dr. Tanya Pauls and her team at Advanced Hair. Take advantage of your flexible summer calendar and get the most hair for your dollar. Advanced Hair Summer Sales Event is on for a limited time, so get the details and schedule your free consultation today. 720-459-HAIR, 720-459-HAIR. One-day treatment, life-changing results. With Advanced Hair, your new hair is guaranteed to grow. So check out the incredible before and afters and take advantage of their best offer ever. That's 720-459-HAIR or advancedhair.com, 720-459-HAIR or advancedhair.com. We'll continue with the Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader. Got something special for you coming up here with You Choose the News. Join us on video. Just saying. Got a couple of minutes. We'll be right back. This is News Talk 710 KNUS.
Wake up, Denver. There's no better place to start your morning than IHOP, where the pancakes are fluffy, the coffee is hot, and the smiles are endless. Wednesday, August 27th. Join Jeff and Bill as they broadcast their show live from IHOP at 1595 South Colorado Boulevard in Denver. You're officially invited to be part of the excitement. Come grab your favorite breakfast and watch the Jeff and Bill show in action from 6 to 10 a.m. Don't forget to try the special Jeff and Bill breakfast. Pancakes, any style eggs, and crispy bacon, all for just $7.10. It's a deal as good as their hot takes. All they need is you. Bring your appetite, bring your friends, and kick off your day with great food and great conversation. See you Wednesday, August 27th at IHOP.
You should recognize this one, my friend. From college.
Gosh, you guys have put me in a wormhole of my freshman year of college. I had a roommate who loved this, and it was just like...
I'm certain that you ran into this one. If he was a fan, he would have to play this on repeat.
This is too many trumpets. It's not about the racial history of ska. It's just too many horns. I can't deal with it.
But again, the others didn't have a whole lot of horns in them. Yeah, this is a little heavier. This is the third wave of ska. This comes from Real Big Fish, probably the most popular. 1996 is when this drops. And the song is called Sellout, and it's making fun of the fans that are telling them because you're now making money, you're a sellout. So that's what this is. One of the best concerts in Denver ever, Real Big Fish and Less Than Jake at the Ogden. That's absolutely fantastic. And speaking of concerts, come see us at the Taste of Douglas County. Jeff and I are hanging out with Mike Boyle, August 21st, 5 p.m., Douglas County Fair, tasteofdouglascounty.com. Tickets are $10. And you get free food. Dozens of restaurants are going to be there. Pepsi's handing out free stuff. It's delicious. It's fantastic. So come hang out with us August 21st. Get your tickets $10. Taste of Douglas County. Do you get a little PTSD with this, my friend?
Yes.
Wasn't you? Yeah, I bet. I knew this is. I wasn't really going to go with this one. There's a couple other deeper cuts, but I figured this one is enough that it probably would spark some memories and stuff that was familiar to you. But yeah, so we'll fade that out. I understand that I'm doing a little PTSD for you, and I'm doing this again out of love and a tiny bit of spite.
Yeah, I can tell.
I love you so much. This is great. And that's why you've got to give me songs for next week. Next Friday, we got to feature Jeff songs. But we're doing this because Jeff made fun of Sky yesterday. And this is out of a lot of love. A lot of love. A tiny bit of spite. Just because. That's our relationship. That's just our relationship, my friend.
That's true.
It is. It is. I would do anything for you, but it was great. Okay. Shall we do what we're really here for?
Yes.
Let's do it. It is time for the loser edition of You Choose the News. It's America's favorite fake radio news game show. Those stories that weren't chosen this week.
You are one
pathetic loser.
Loser.
Let's go. Loser! You're a loser!
It's a losers club.
Bunch of losers.
You're such a loser. You made me feel like a loser.
She's a loser.
You are such a loser.
Loser.
Yes, loser edition. And I am somehow lost the rest of my body.
I know you're floating head.
Yes, if you join us on the video, I'm doing the magic floating head trick, courtesy of Adam Walker and Mark Crowley. This is when we have way too much time to prep for the show. This is what happens. Alrighty. Here we go, gentlemen. And we bring in Blake Olson from the news department. You know how this works. Silly stories weren't chosen by these gentlemen earlier this week. Dumb stories, interwebs, me makes stupid headline. And we play game because nobody wakes up at this time. And they tell us to stop if they knew what we were doing. Whew. Okay, here we go. Jeff, your choice, sir. Headline number 1, unwanted keepsake. Headline number 2, give this man a hand. Headline number 3, crazy made-up death. And headline number 4, going with the classics.
Let's go with unwanted keepsake. Please.
Yeah, unwanted keepsake is story number 1. Here we find ourselves in Wyoming. The Wyoming Department of Health wants to know if recently you have visited Grand Teton National Park, specifically staying in one hotel, because you may be coming home with some unwanted keepsakes, specifically maybe rabies. Yeah. At least
from bats or something?
Yes, at least 200 guests who stayed at the Jackson Lake Lodge from May 15th to July 27th of this year may have been exposed to a bat colony at the hotel. In a certain area of the hotel in the 500 wing, a bat colony living in the roof, and they have rabies. And so the problem is they don't know if any of them came down and maybe bit any residents. So if you were in the Jackson Lake Lodge from May 15th to July 27th, the bats are small. Even the bite probably wouldn't even hurt if they did it when you were asleep. You wouldn't even notice it. But they're contacting over 200 tourists to Wyoming and saying, yeah, you might have get a little bitey thing, and you may want to go to the doctor, get expensive shots. Yeah, that's something we're channeling.
It's a lot of shots, too.
Yeah,
Jeez.
And they suck and they're painful. You need a T-shirt for that. Okay, now, Blake, your choice, sir. Give this man a hand, a crazy made-up death, or going with the classics?
Give this man a hand.
Yeah, give this man a hand. We find ourselves in Florence, Oregon for this one. According to a probable cause affidavit, David Ray Allen recently was trying to stop suspected car thieves. He was upset that people were coming by his vehicle at 43rd and Oak Street in the middle of the night and trying to break in, so he took things into his own hand, and that's when everything went wrong. He decided to try to deter the suspects by throwing a homemade grenade at them. Since he made You Choose the News, we can tell how well his plan went.
Yeah, right.
Good point.
Let's just say that he's not going to be able to give a standing ovation anytime soon. He lost his hand and part of his arm in it because it exploded before he was able to throw it. Yeah, I know. Exactly. Yeah, that'll teach them. That'll teach those kids. Yeah, I know. Okay. Jeff,
You're going to take an eye out.
I know, yes. Can you give me back my hand there on the ground? Okay.
Do you think the kids were laughing when they saw that?
I know.
Go off?
Dude. And it's a challenge now. Let's go back and see if he'll blow off his other hand. Let's see what happens. Okay. Jeff, your choice, sir. Crazy made-up death or going with the classics?
Going with the classics. Please.
Yeah, here we go with the classics. We find ourselves in Middleton. Now, a woman is facing possible charges in Middleton. It's serious. Rosa Blee Chuli, 62, of Middletown, was arrested recently. She suffered a bad fall in a very filthy parking lot outside a Goodwill at this place in England. but maybe she was just playing on the classics. She went in and told Goodwill that your parking lot's filthy, and I went outside and I slipped on a banana peel and I've hurt myself. And they couldn't find the banana peel. When they went and they checked the security footage, she actually walked behind a pickup truck and then threw herself to the ground, probably tripping on the strap of her purse that was down on the ground at the time. She claimed first it was the banana peel, then she said it was a crushed up lighter in the parking lot, and then she says, just give me my check, please. Basically, I might have added the last part. But that's basically it. She tried the old slip and fall fraud scheme. It didn't work out well for her. Yeah, and they found that. And our final story, we'll add a bonus today, crazy made-up death. Tanya Haddix, you may know her from Chimp Crazy, a online TV show. She's now going to be spending 46 months in prison for faking the deaths of one of her chimps. She had received a cease and desist order. She wasn't allowed to care for the animals because they were kept in absolutely squalor conditions. So she pretended one of them was dead. He wasn't. Pretty easy to find the live chimp because it was still in her basement. So now she's going to spend 46 months in prison.
Nice.
Yeah, faking the chimp death. All righty, that's it. More ska music ahead, and I know Jeff is happy about this. Back to you, sir. You should see his face. And I'm still the floating head.
You're still the floating head.
I
know.
love this.
What has happened to this show?
Oh,
Good Lord, you're listening to the Jeff and Bill Show.
710 KNUS.